5th. This is the second video. The first video I was just talking about when I was in my teenage years and in my transition that occurs post-secondary school, and just how the way it seems that many people were socialized growing up, and how lonely and disconnected many people would express in moments of weakness or while under the influence of different substances, and how it seemed like it was to many people this would be a very befuddling phenomena. But for me, it just seemed like that would just be the natural progression of the relationships that weren't sincere, relationships that were founded on things that were extrinsic versus intrinsic. And so the reason why I brought that up is that's kind of like a framework to right now. I really have noticed, and it's not everybody, definitely not everybody, but there are certain personalities that really treat me as if my life is over, or as if I'm an embarrassment because I'm going through impoverishment, and or as if I'm have a pitiable, I'm in a pitiable position, or I should be ashamed of being impoverished. And and it's neat going through this from this perspective, because in my mind I think, but wait a second, but what are you founding that on? I know other people around me that and I don't mean this in a cruel way, but they're hooked on different substances because they're constantly trying to escape a reality that they find very difficult to face. I don't use any substances. I face all the realities around me, including impoverishment. I think this is very healthy, and it's not just I think this is very healthy. I know this is very healthy, and I don't mean to compare, to juxtapose myself with others, and to boister myself in that comparison or juxtaposition. But I do mean to say, even just from a logical perspective, my mind is clear, my heart is full of peace, so I'm able to continually move forward, and continually learn and grow and mature, to introspect, to serve God. My goodness, I'm clear. I'm very clear in my thoughts, and I'm very accountable and responsible for my decisions. I think that's success. It's not that I think that's success. I know that's success within itself. I've worked in places where there were people that were married, and they have really nice houses, and they're maybe in the Sunshine Club, and they if you examine the list of what society determines is successful living, they check off all the check boxes, but unfortunately they're caught up in affairs, and their significant others or their spouses don't know that they're in an affair, so they don't really have, in my mind, and I don't mean this to defame anybody or to speak ill of anyone, but that's deception at its purest form. So their spouses don't realize that they're actually in a loveless marriage, and they're going to constantly be running from and grappling with a reality where they're imposters. They're actually the ones that are deceiving the very same ones that they're supposed to reveal the truest essence of love to. And I find they're the ones that pick on different folks at work. They utilize their relationships, and they use it as leverage to ensure that they can pick on the ones that nobody seems to really like, and are the ones that don't get much attention because they become more the voiceless, and in order to inflate themselves because they feel deflated due to the circumstances surrounding the choices that they're making, as opposed to being accountable and just being honest with their spouse, breaking off that infidelity or that affair, and then being honest with their spouse and being accountable and saying, listen, I've been cheating on you. I'm very greedy. I'm this, I'm that, I'm very lustful, and all these things, and then accepting the consequences. Like, that's the true way out of that predicament. And then in terms of like all the things that they have, it's nice to have lots of money. It's nice to have houses and real estate and vehicles and all these different things. It's like, I don't see anything wrong with having those things, in as much as those things are not idols and they don't have you, meaning your essence and your image is founded on the things that you have versus the character and the love and joy and like the state of the kingdom of God within you. So I find like many people, they look at relationships like this or situations like this, and they just see the outer surface. They just see what's on the outside, and then they draw up assumptions, and then they think, oh, this person is doing really well because they check all the check marks that are external, and then they can use that, unfortunately, as a very stringent and a very harsh comparison to somebody who's lacking, say the house or the finances, this and that. And then they're, come to that conclusion that the person who's lacking the material things is in a pitiable state. And which is just, there's no truth to that. If you can see it allows you to escape it. You can have freedom from it. If you can't see it and you come into agreement with it in your mind and you start thinking, oh my goodness, I'm in a pitiable state. I need to get this position or that position and, race to get like this house and to get this and that and all these different things. You could see how it'd be easy for that person to fall prey to the trap or a snare that is getting you to buy into a reality that in itself is not bad at all. In fact, in itself, I think is a wonderful thing. But you're doing it for the wrong reasons because of the stigmas attached and the the appraisal, the incorrect appraisal that's been pushed upon you, unfortunately, from minds that were basically just taking things on face value instead of investigating a little bit beneath the surface to see if the color within matches the color without, or the cleanliness within matches the cleanliness without, is very important. Very, very important. The matters of the heart are much more important than the outward appearance. And if they're in disalignment, then the matters of the heart are not in agreement with, and they do not connect with the outward appearance. And it's really wise for us to note this, and a failure to note this could be rather detrimental.